Over the weekend, ESPN's lead NFL analyst, Bill Barnwell, chose his top 9 NFL free agency pickups, and he gave only one A grade. That went to Tampa Bay for signing Tom Brady. So, Mr. Sharpe, are you ready to now admit that Tom Brady was the best free agent pickup by far?
Nope, hell no, because he wasn't, Skip. He's 43 years of age. I just want to know the situation is that a quarterback that was 27th in that was 19th in QBR, 27th in completion percentage, 27th in yards per attempt, and this was a great signing. Take Brady out the back. Are you happy? And the guy's 43. You see, because people cannot get past those 6 Super Bowls. But that's not what we're judging. We're judging his 2019 season. Skip, did you know that the Patriots defense gave up 17 points or more 5 times? Do you know what their record was? 0-5. But do you also know against the Eagles, the Cowboys, and who's the other team? There's one, and the Bills. They scored 17 or fewer, and they won those games. So let that sink in for just a second. Had the defense not been as great as it was, Tom Brady would have been worse than what his actual numbers were. All we think about, and that's the problem, is that when you try to critique Tom Brady, everybody goes to those 6 Super Bowls. But he said in his post, what you've done in the past does not matter. So if we judge him by 2019, Skip, what's the difference between him and Phillip Rivers? Phillip really turned the ball over. Phillip Rivers had a high completion percentage, had a high QBR. You see? Nobody mentioned that Phillip Rivers' offensive line was terrible, but all we do is make excuses. No, let me take that back. All you and others like yourself try to do is make excuses. Oh, his offensive line. He lost his center. He lost this guy. Oh, the defense wasn't very good in big situations. No. We don't make excuses for Phillip Rivers. We don't make excuses for any other quarterback. We've never made excuses for Peyton Manning like we make for Tom Brady. We've never made excuses for Joe Montana or any other historically great quarterback like we do for Tom Brady. We make excuses. His receivers aren't very good. His offensive line wasn't very good. His defense let him down. We have never made concessions for any other historically great quarterback like you and others do for Tom Brady. And I'm just trying to figure out why.
I have one question before I take the floor from you, Mr. Sharpe. Can you please tell me what happened to Phillip Rivers' team last year? Did they make the playoffs?
No, they did not. They did not make the playoffs.
No. Okay. Thank you very much. Tom Brady had what was a below-average New England roster in position to win the 2 seed in the AFC. He had yet another fourth-quarter game-winning drive against the Dolphins, final regular season game at Foxborough. He did 60 yards, 8 plays like he always does, touchdown pass to little James White, as we've often seen, and all of a sudden it's 24-20 New England. And if the defense can stop Ryan Fitzpatrick from scoring a touchdown with 3.5 minutes left in the game, Tom Brady has that team in the 2 seed with a week off for a beat-up football team to try to get well, especially Julian Edelman, his only target, who, as you know, needed off-season shoulder surgery. He had cracked ribs. He had a bad knee. He had led the NFL in drops. And what happened? Belichick's defense that you continue to defend or give a pass to let Ryan Fitzpatrick go 80 yards in 13 plays with a touchdown pass to Mike Gesicki with 5 seconds left to win the game and knock Brady's team out of the 2 seed. How was that Brady's fault? Brady actually played very well last year, given the lack of quality around him, because it was pretty sorry. How do you explain that?
Easy. Skip. Them losing to the Dolphins at the end of the season knocked them out of the 2 seed. It didn't knock them out of the playoffs. What happened in the playoffs? They gave up 14 points. Belichick defense didn't allow a point in the second half. Tom Brady, on cue. Your turn. Now what did he do, Skip?
Well, he ran into the hottest team in the playoffs, the Tennessee Titans, who proceeded to go knock Baltimore out of the playoffs and proceeded to go up, 17-7 on Kansas City Wasn't that the score? Yeah, the AFC Championship game. They're 17-7. Okay, well, they're a hot team. They were rolling behind the big man running the football, Derrick Henry. So
you can't get hot against.
They got beat.
No, you can't get hot against the GOAT. That's the GOAT. You see, Skip, tell me this. And Skip, I don't really care to talk anymore. Tell me what does Coach Belichick defense has to do with Tom Brady being 19th in QBR, 27th in completion percentage, 27th in yards per attempt, and the second level stats. I want to go second level just one time. On target throws, not whether the ball is caught or not, on target throws. Only Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, Mason Rudolph was worse than Tom Brady. See, all these stats that we love to accentuate a guy, these stats are killing Tom Brady, but we overlook them. No, let me take that back. You and others like you overlook them, but I won't. Your turn.
Well, I guess the Bucs overlooked them because Jason Light, the GM, said on ESPN this morning that they broke down every game Brady played last year, and they saw no decline in arm talent. Jason Light also said, obviously, he's not a mover and shaker around he doesn't run with the football, but he never ran with the football, but he still has good pocket feet. And Jason Light concluded that they've signed him for 2 years at the all-time steal price of $25 million, and they're hoping he can play beyond 2 more years. So to me, when I think about a team called the Buccaneers over the last 10, you can even go back 20 years, having any chance to get the GOAT is just preposterous to me. When I first heard the rumors, 2 weeks ago that, hey, maybe Tampa Bay is actually in the Derby here, I laughed out loud. I scoffed. I shrugged. Yeah, right, the Buccaneers, there's no way. The Buccaneers are the worst team in all of sports in career winning percentage. So Tom Brady, to choose them, it's like the all-time steal at $25 million. And I'm going to remind you, people say, well, he doesn't have the arm strength. Baloney. It's the same as it always was, because on passes of 20 or more yards last year into tight windows, Tom Brady was tied for first in the league at 41% completions. He had 43% overall on 20-yard or more passes, which was 7th in the league, which is still pretty good. But his receivers as a group were dead last in the NFL in separation last year. And his tight ends, post Gronkowski, in the wake of Gronkowski, they were the worst in productivity of any unit of tight ends in the whole league. So you took away Gronk. He had AB for a minute, and he was gone. And Belichick cut Josh Gordon. He's gone. And N'Keal Harry was on IR for the first 8 games and then never figured it out over the last 8 games as a rookie. What do you – he's throwing to nobody. It's Julian Edelman or bust. And all of a sudden, you give him 4 stud receivers, 2 Pro Bowlers, and 2 tight ends? My goodness. This is the steal of any century.
Well, think about this, Skip. Let this sink in for a second. Now, they were 3rd in scoring. Jameis Winston threw for almost 5,200 yards. So are they going to be pulling him, or is he going to pull them?
Well, it's hard to pull any quarterback unless you tell me Brady's the game manager, and he's not even close to being a game manager, because they're going to go bombs away. You watch the deep balls that he throws next year.
Hold on, Skip Bayless.
Right back in your seat.
You do realize, in order for you to push the ball down the field, you got to hold on to the ball. You know what happens when you hold on to the ball. Guys put helmets in said player's back. Guy hit player in said chest. That's what happens when you push the ball down the field. You can't get biscuits with checking the ball down to James White, to throwing shallow crosses to Julian Edelman. That's not how they play. That's not BA's offense. You do realize BA quarterback takes punishment. Check Carson Palmer. Check Big Ben when BA went.
Okay, but again, BA will go with the checkdowns all day if you'll give him checkdowns. And I told you, beware of little Scotty Miller, little 175-pound Scotty Miller out of the slot. He was a rookie last year out of Bowling Green, and he can fly. He's got track speed, and watch Brady turn him into something of an Edelman or maybe an Amendola. Watch what happens. So all of a sudden, Tom Brady's got a pretty good offensive line. It was pretty good. It protected Jameis pretty well, but you can't hang on to the ball as long as Jameis did. Brady never hangs on to the ball like that. Jameis turned the ball over 35. Go ahead.
How do you push? I just want to know, how do you push the ball down the field by getting the ball out of your hand quick? In order for you to throw deep, it takes 7 steps. It takes 5 steps, not the 3 steps.
Okay. As Brady said the other day, and he nailed it, the essence of playing quarterback is taking the man who's open. If he's open deep, you throw it deep. If it's mid-range, if it's short, if it's inside, if it's outside, he's the master of taking whatever you give him open. He will find nothing but open receivers this year after he couldn't find one last year. And I'm going to remind everybody again, Jameis turned it over 35 times. That was 12 more than any other quarterback in the whole National Football League. 35 turnovers. Brady turned it over for a bad team last year 9 times. 35-9. So if Brady only turns it over, let's say 9 times this year, my goodness, think about how much better that offense is going to be, and think about how much better the defense is going to be. Because in inherited field position last year, the defense had the worst in the NFL because of Jameis Winston. I think that defense is underrated and pretty good, and it's going to look a whole lot better when Tom Brady is not turning the ball over in sudden change situations that wears out the defense physically as well as mentally. So he's like a godsend for a team on the verge that's going to break through this year.
Skip, I'll give you that. While we should not confuse Jameis Winston with Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson, he was more mobile. He bought time, threw the ball down the field, and allowed Godwin, allowed Mike Evans to make plays. Is Brady going to be able to do that? Jameis was more mobile. I mean, we don't look at Jameis as being mobile. He kind of reminds me of the guy that was calling plays for him, Byron Leftwich. But he was more mobile and athletic and could get out of harm's way, something that Brady is not going to be able to do, especially at the ripe old age of 43. Skip, to push the ball down the field, you have to hold on to the ball. And bad things happen to old players when they hold on to the ball.
Shannon Sharpe. Tom Brady still has some of the best pocket feet in all of pro football. I'm talking about the little slide step, the little jab step here or there to avoid the pass rusher. He's brilliant at it. He has supremely high football IQ. You know it, and I know it. And if you give him some receivers who can actually separate within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, he's going to find them quickly because he is the ultimate speed reader and get them the football. But Shannon, my point here is bigger than playing quarterback. What did Bruce Arians say the other day? Just as important to him is that Tom Brady is going to change their locker room culture. So what did Tom Brady ask for? Not money, because he took $25 million. Drew Brees in New Orleans took $25 million. It's just like chicken feed. It's just like cookie jar money for quarterbacks of that level of greatness. But they want to win. They want the cap to be wide enough that they can be surrounded with quality talent. So Tom Brady he asked for not money, but he asked for phone numbers. He first wanted his receivers' phone numbers. And over the weekend, Chris Godwin talked about how Tom Brady, the GOAT, called him and wanted to FaceTime with him. And what did they talk about during their FaceTime visit? Not ball, as he said. We didn't talk ball. We talked about getting to know each other. Tom interviewed Chris Godwin. What do you like? What do you like to do? What's your family situation? What do you like to do?
He tried to finagle Chris Godwin out of that number 12.
Oh, is he? Okay. I don't think that.
Yeah, you know what he's trying to do, Skip.
He can pay him for that. He can pay him for that. I think Tom Brady.
But that's what it's going to take. Yes, okay, a new Aston Martin. Since Tom Brady's the spokesman, Aston Martin.
Okay, fine. An Aston Martin, because I don't think Chris Godwin would even dare wear number 12 with the GOAT playing quarterback who's worn 12 most of his life, or at least his pro life. So again, that's
well,
not
Chris
an issue.
Godwin says he's won it since
already.
high school.
Okay, fine. I'm sure Chris Godwin's going to give up number 12. You know it, and I know it. So here you are trying to change the subject again because I've got you on the run. Tom Brady is already changing the culture. That's why he's so valuable. He'll get a hold of Mike Evans and Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard and little Scotty Miller, and he'll get inside their heads. What do you like? What don't you like? What routes do you like? They'll start to figure it out, and he will teach them how to win football games in ways Jameis could not teach them how to win football games. That's why he's so valuable, is because he changes everything.
What difference does it make what they like if they're not open? He says he's going to throw it to the guy that's open. So if it's open on a route that I don't like, what difference does that make? Skip, let me tell you what Tom Brady is. Tom Brady is one of these great singers that could hit that high note all the time and with great frequency. But as he starts to age, he can hit it, just not all the time. So there'll be a time one of these nights, Skip Bayless, you know, one of these singers, they go way up there, probably 5, 6, 7 octaves. But he can't do that with the consistency that he once could. And that's what Tom Brady is, Skip. That's what he is.
Okay, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Did you see a decline last year in Tom Brady's arm talent, in his velocity or his accuracy? Did you see a decline?
I saw the decline in his pocket presence. He was starting to flinch, and Skip, the reaction time was not what it once was. That's what I see. He's not pushing the ball down the field with the level of consistency that we're used to seeing Tom Brady. Now, granted, their offense in New England, Skip, is all about, you know, the intermediate stuff, in between the numbers, in between the hash. Very seldom do they throw the ball down the field. And that's why you get the high completion percentage, Skip, because people are not expecting it. And that's what I'm saying. A guy that shoots 50 threes as opposed to shooting 500 threes, the guy that shoots 50 is probably going to have a higher completion percentage than the guy that shoots 500. But you'll see. And you know what? I'm not one of these guys that, Skip, I told y'all, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm not that guy. But you know, Skip, at 43, going to a new system where they throw, when it's totally different than what you're used to, is a big change.
It'll be a huge change. And Tom Brady's going to change that whole culture of the whole Bucs Nation mindset. And all I know is that Fox Bet had Tampa Bay at 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, the Bucs, the Buccaneers, have vaulted all the way to 18-1, which is tied with the Eagles for 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl. And I will predict that will just get better and better as we approach next football season. But speaking of a team that actually is ranked on Fox Bet above the Eagles and the Buccaneers, are the Cowboys at 16-1. Would you believe that?
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.